Alrighty, we are back here with the Mariners. I've got my iced coffee because I even drink it in the winter because I'm a seasoned East Coaster. And we are ready to go looking through some trades here because we are a few days away from the trade deadline and we have quite a few guys who are veterans who we want to try to get rid of. Kenta Maeda, Chapman, possibly Benintendi, Sano, Hendricks, Martinez. Maybe Austin Nola, because he's slated to projected to get like 8 mil next year, so I'm thinking that Nola's going to be getting traded. Once he is back, hopefully, because right now his recovery time is unknown, so hopefully he's back before the 31st, or even on the 31st. As long as he's back before August 1st, it should be fine. But, you know, hopefully he's back before then and we're not stuck with him, and then I would probably just trade him in the offseason if that's the case. But, I would like to trade him now and open up that catcher spot. Alright, so first guy we're going to shop is Carlos Martinez because he is the guy having the best season. We're going to throw it on prospects, all players, just what is the best prospects you will offer me for Carlos Martinez. This is something that's interesting, too. The Royals had this guy, CJ Van Eyck, who was their first-round pick in 2020. And he's in Double-A right now, just finally got up to Double-A. He's been struggling a bit, but he's been pretty decent throughout the minor leagues in A-ball. They still think my scout and OSA think he's going to be still a pretty solid pitcher. And they've also got MJ Melendez here, who if we do trade away Nola, we have Patrick Bailey, obviously, but MJ Melendez here is... As a team captain, high work ethic, high intelligence, incredible defensive ratings, that's going to help out the pitching staff. And he's already like a better hitter than Patrick Bailey. So, we might have to just settle for Patrick Bailey as like our third catcher because MJ Melendez is pretty good. That could be a thing. Maybe throwing on Melendez and Ike as a pair for Martinez. Possibly even like this Guzman guy. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't think the thing is, I don't really want to add any middle infielders because we have so many infielders throughout our system. As I'm saying that, I'm seeing Kevin Martinez right here, who is a 23-year-old switch hitter. At one point, he was like a top prospect in the Braves system, and I forget they got him like illegally or something, so he ended up having to like re-sign with somebody else, and the Angels got him and. He's had a couple good seasons in A-ball, but he's kind of struggled this year. Or he was pretty good in A this year, but he's kind of struggling a bit in Double-A. Similar amount of ABs. It seems like he's striking out quite a bit, which makes sense with the avoid K rating, and he's really not that great of a defensive player. He's got the really good arm, but not very good range or error, which is not good to see. Alright, so they won't even do that. I have to add something on to that. This Charlie Neuweiler guy was on the list of prospects that they were interested in giving me, like, just on the shop player screen. And he was listed as a reliever, so I was like, God, not even worth looking at this guy. But I mean, he could very obviously start. Like, he has the stuff, the pitches to start. He's got the stamina. I mean, would they accept this guy? No, they wouldn't. So I would have to add somebody else to make it even. Like this Hunter Bryan guy who's like okay, but probably isn't going to be anything. And also is in like a logjam of. But then it makes no sense to trade that guy. So like, could we maybe throw on like one of my like AAA relievers or something? Like Art Warren. Will they take Art Warren? No, they don't. They don't want Art Warren. So for some reason, if I take a set of stubs out of here and I just have these three guys in here, and if I throw on this Hunter Bryan guy who is not any good, he's not performing well. He's been okay in like A-ball a couple years, but he's been in A-ball for like ever now. He's not really ever going to be anything for us. He's 22, still in A-ball, and he's just still like not like progressing. So, if we throw that guy on with Martinez, we could get these three, and they like that at all. They like that. So, can we get a fourth guy? This guy's very interesting. I think we're going to throw this guy on the, possibly. I think we're going to throw this guy on the deal. They just got him from, it looks like the Long Island Ducks in Indie Ball. He barely pitched there. He pitched one game in Indie Ball. They bought him. and he's been really good in A. So, you know, like, his control is only a 35, but I mean, his stats, he doesn't really walk people. And he strikes out a ton of guys. So, and I think that's what we're going to do. This is the package for Colors Martinez. MJ Melendez, CJ Van Eyck, Charlie Neuweiler, and Cam Cohen. And then we have Martinez and then just some random prospect just to make it work. And we are going to do that. Alright, so let's see what could we get for Miguel Sano. Just any prospect whatsoever. The Reds actually have a couple interesting guys. They've got this Baron Radcliffe guy, who is a high-power, disciplined guy. Can play some first base and corner outfield. It seems like he's never going to be a high-average guy, first of all. We don't care about average anyways, but he's got low contact, low avoid K, so he's obviously going to strike out a lot, which his numbers do show. But he is going to walk quite a bit as well because of that discipline. And I do tend to like high-power discipline guys. So I think I want to throw this guy on here. And I'm also liking this Mac Chambers guy, who's about to be 24. He's had a couple pretty good seasons in... or he barely played here. This is more of a rookie combined with A. So he's been pretty good throughout his time in the minor leagues. He's not a power guy, obviously. But, you know, he could be a guy just throws in there, possibly becomes something for us. He's a switch hitter. I do like that. Now that I'm looking at this, I think my buddy Bo knows this guy. But shout out Bo. Shout out to Mac Chambers here. And then even possibly this Claudio Fanol guy is somebody we could throw on here. Could play all around the infield. Cannot play the outfield. But he's a decent, like, contact, like, you know, he's not a great contact bat. He's got some gap power, some avoid Ks, line drive hitter. Could be a decent guy to have on the corner infield. Alrighty, so I'm thinking this is the package we're going to go with here. Baron Radcliffe, who we went over, Claudio Fanol, who we went over, Mac Chambers, who we went over, and Humberto Castellanos is actually a guy I've had my eye on for quite a bit, just because I've noticed that he was a very high control pitcher. This stuff is all pretty average, but the extremely good control paired with him being a ground ball pitcher and a ground baller pitcher type, I do like that. He's in A-ball right now. We'd throw him up in Double-A, see how he does there. Hopefully he's in Triple-A next year, possibly in the big leagues at some point as well. But yeah, Humberto Castellanos is a guy that I'm thinking we're gonna throw on here, and then also this Wladimir Pinto, who is a extremely fast-throwing. He's a fireballer. He's a power pitcher. He is also sitting in A-ball. He's been very good in A-ball. We're going to obviously throw him up to Double-A and see what he does there. But I think it's worth taking a shot on these two relievers who they've just kind of like given up on. And then as these three position players as well. So we're going to do that. Miguel Sano is going to the Cincinnati Reds. And it is now done. Now I want to see what I can get for Kenta Maeda here, since he is a starting pitcher. And he's probably going to have at least some value. Let's just throw it on all players first. Man, why couldn't this guy come up before? There's this guy, Dylan Dingler. Incredible name. Pretty good defensive catcher. And he's going to be like a contact, gets on base a lot guy sort of player. Never strikes out, walks a lot. I mean, this guy is incredible. Thing is, we just traded for Melendez. And of course, we still have Cal Raleigh, too, so this is a very interesting guy in the Red Sox organization, currently with the Portland Sea Dogs in Double-A, and he's only 21, and he just turned 21, and he's tearing the cover off the ball in Double-A. He's not striking out very much. I'm expecting his walk percentage to go up as he develops this eye discipline rating, but he's really good as a defensive shortstop. Could obviously play some second base, probably even some third if you needed him to. Probably too small to play third, ideally, but, you know, probably more of a middle infielder. Yeah, can't play any outfield. But yeah, this guy's interesting. He's very young still, obviously. Switch hitter. I do like that a lot. He's currently out with a fractured jaw. But that's no big deal. We can still trade for him. I think this guy is... Right now, the front runner is Brainer Bonacci here from Venezuela. This is also somebody I'm liking from the Dodgers, 22-year-old Jose Raldufo. Right-handed ground baller, incredible fastball slider, some pretty good curveball and changeup possibly. Some really good control, some good stuff. Slightly below average movement, that's fine. He's been really good in high A and in A ball. Really everywhere he's been except for this one little stint in A ball here. He's been really good. He's consistently dropped his OPS against as he's progressed through the minor leagues. Doesn't really walk many guys. Yeah, I mean, he's very intriguing, but the thing is, I would like the guys that would be able to add on to the trade with the Red Sox more than any of these guys. Like, these are kind of just like old relievers and like first basemen. Like, this guy is pretty good, but, you know, I don't really want to add another reliever to the team. This guy would be somebody if we're in the market for a first baseman. Like, this guy could probably rake, to be honest. The thing is, we don't need a first baseman, obviously, with Evan White. I mean, maybe he could DH at some point. But, we've also got, like, somebody in AAA. We've got Keegan McGovern, who has actually been not great this year. He's also 27. So, you know, maybe we could give up on McGovern after the season. And this guy could be our... Michael Bush here could be our AAA first baseman and possibly DH. I like the eye discipline, the contact gap power. Probably going to be more of a doubles hitter, which is definitely relevant, or definitely shows up in his minor league stats. I mean, he had 35 doubles in A-ball, high A-ball in 2021. He's always had a really good OBP. Yeah, I'm liking this guy. The more I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of talking myself into going with Raldufo and Bush here. Bam, they like that. So we could get Raldufo and Bush for Kenta Maeda. Could we get anybody else? They like this this Christian Franklin guy being in the deal too, who is you know, probably not going to develop much more. He's 23. He was a first-round pick in 2021. Looks like a compensation round pick though. And they haven't moved him up past high A. We would obviously move him into double A. But he can play all three outfield positions pretty well. He's really fast. I'm thinking of like this guy as like the third guy on the deal, just because he could be pretty interesting. And we definitely don't have too many outfield depth guys in the system. It's really only like Jonathan Clase, or Clase, however you say his name, that we have in our system in the outfield. And we probably could add on like this DeJesus guy if we really wanted to. Hey, it's close to being fair. We probably could find a reliever to add on here, but I think we're just going to go with these three guys, and Raldufo, Bush, and Franklin, and that's going to be the package for Maeda. Yeah, we're going to go through with that. Maeda is gone. Now it's time to see what we can get for Aroldis Chapman here. Well. It looks like we're actually still able to do this Red Sox package here with Bonacci and Wicklander if we wanted. Let's see if they're even able to do that. So they cannot agree to that. They don't like the both of them being in there. But we could add on Kyle Hendricks. We could add on Kyle Hendricks and they would take that. So if we throw on Kyle Hendricks, they like that. We're trying to trade Kyle Hendricks anyway. He's probably not going to have too much value. Before we do this, I'm just going to shop Kyle Hendricks and just see what Kyle Hendricks would get. All right, yeah, so just like a quick scroll through, it definitely looks like maybe there's like some guys. He's not really anything. This guy is probably like the best guy we could get for Kyle Hendricks if we were going to trade him in just like his own trade rather than adding him in the Chapman one so we could get both of those Red Sox guys. Yeah, so I'm thinking that this is the move we're going to make here, is the keeping Hendricks in this with Chapman, and we're going to get Bonacci, who is obviously just turned 21, still very young, could possibly be like a second base shortstop tandem with Marte up the infield at some point, if some of our other middle infielders don't really pan out to be starters. Or you never know. I mean, this guy is he's so young that you never know what he could be for us, but he is definitely, it's better to get a much younger guy than it is to be like another like 24, 25-year-old. And then this Patrick Wicklander guy, 23-year-old ground ball pitcher, which I really like. I'm liking his ratings. Obviously not the greatest potential, but, you know, he has been really good throughout the minor leagues. People do not hit against him. He's always had a really good ERA+, really good ERA, really good FIP. I'm liking this Patrick Wicklander guy, so we're going to throw that on there. All right, I'm thinking this is the package here. But Bonacci, obviously we've been over him. We've been over Wicklander, and then Jay Groom, just because he's a guy who we could still salvage something from Jay Groom. We'd probably throw him in a double A, just see how he does. And maybe we could turn Jay Groom into something, salvage him into being a decent player for us. And then this first baseman, Jacob Herbert, who I'm kind of just banking on this home run power developing into something. He's in the low levels. We'll probably like put him in like high A ball or something and just see how he does. Just as a guy who could maybe be something for us someday as a decent first baseman. And we're going through with it. Chapman and Hendricks are going to the Red Sox. Alright, now to see if we could get something for Benintendi, which I'm sure we could. Alright, so for prospects, it's literally just one team that's interested in Benintendi, and that is the Kansas City Royals. I don't particularly like that. None of these guys really stand out to me. I mean, this guy is pretty good, but once again, we have so many middle infielders that we don't really need to add this guy to the mix. What if I add regulars to the check mark there? Alright, not really any more options. It's just kind of like a bunch of 30-year-olds that also have some years left in their contracts. So really the Royals are the only team that are interested in Andrew Benintendi. Yeah, so I don't really like anything that's popping up for Benintendi, so we're probably just going to keep Benintendi and then maybe decline his option for next year or bring him back. We'll decide when that time comes, but it's looking like Benintendi is going to stay on the team here. Could we get something for Austin Adams? Because he obviously has one more year of arbitration, but could we get something for him? He's very unhappy because of his performance and because he's not the closer. This guy is extremely interesting. The possible 80 discipline with some average contact power and avoid Ks, or like slightly below average in some cases. Probably more of a left fielder, but I don't mind that. Some decent speed as well. I mean, this guy is going to be getting on base, and we love that, folks. Yes, we do. I mean, this guy walks an absurd amount. He's obviously in the major leagues right now, so he would get called up over Quan. Could we get him, like, and this Miguel Soto guy? Who was their first-round pick, compensation round in 2021? Looks like he can play all over the infield, even some outfield. We could even play him in the outfield if we wanted to, which is probably what I would do. I'd probably like throw him in Double A and just have him play like maybe some corner outfield, maybe even some center field. I think that's what we'd do with him if we could get both of these guys. So Rosario, but Casetta Stubbs, I'll throw him on there. I mean, he's got some decent ratings, but he's been really bad in the minors for us. Maybe he figures it out with the Padres organization, but I think this is what we're going to roll with here, is Rosario and Soto. And Soto obviously can play some really good infield, and he's got some good outfield ratings too, so maybe I throw him on like some left and right field in Double A, see if he can get those ratings up and just turn him into like a super utility guy with a good bat as well. And then I think we're just going to throw this Danny Soretti guy in here, just kind of like a third guy in the deal. He's 23. We'll probably keep him in high A-ball, see if he can turn things around with us in A-ball. And, you know, maybe he's something someday, maybe he's not. He's just kind of like a throw-in in the deal. And, yeah, this is what we're going to do. Austin Adams is going to go to San Diego, which is where he is in real life, I'm pretty sure, isn't it? For Rosario and Soto and Danny Soretti. All right, so we have a ton of spots open on our roster now. We opened up a DH spot with Sano, and then 5 pitcher spots, because we traded away Maeda, Hendricks, Chapman, Adams, and Martinez. So yeah, 5 pitcher spots and a DH. That's 6 spots. That adds up. And yeah, let's see who we're going to call up here from AAA with our pitchers. So like right off the bat, 2 of the spots, I'm thinking Brian Perez and Juan Then. They've been really good in AA or AAA this year. They're some of our top prospects. Juan Then's been really good. Yeah, both of these guys, that takes 2 of the 5 spots. We have 3 pitcher spots left. So Brian Perez to Seattle, Juan Then to Seattle. And then I'm thinking that Justice Sheffield also gets one of these spots because he's been really good in AAA this year as well. So he's also going to come up to the major leagues. That takes 3 of the spots for pitchers. We have 2 more pitcher spots to take. And I'm thinking that Zach Pop is going to be one of them. We picked him up in that trade to Baltimore. Or, when did this happen? It was the Marco Gonzalez trade to Baltimore. We got Austin Martin, Aquino, and Pop. Aquino's been very good for us. Hopefully Pop can as well. Austin Martin is currently in AAA as well. So Zach Pop is going to come up to the big leagues, and that's going to leave one more pitcher spot open. He also gets added to the 40-man with that. Yeah, maybe Dean's not an option just because he hasn't been great this year. So I think it's just Aaron Fletcher is going to go up. He's been pretty solid in AAA. Yeah, so Aaron Fletcher is going to go up as the another lefty arm, and now we have a position player to call up. Who cares? I'm going to call up Steven Kwan. He's way too good of a guy in AAA to have down there forever. So he's 25. He's about to be 26. We're going to call him up, and he is going to play some outfield for us. Possibly one of these guys plays some DH. Maybe, I don't know, Benintendi possibly. Also, just because they keep playing Shedlong at third base, I don't think we're going to lock Leba at second anymore, so we can actually get some decent like backup time at second with people. I think that's the move. And then here's what they did with our arms here. They've got the rotation as Gilbert, Dunn, Margavicius, George Kirby, and LJ Newsome, which I don't hate at all. And in the pen, it's going to be Mills, Delaplane, Fletcher, Sheffield, Aquino, Then, Perez, and Pop. And, yeah, that should be good. I think that's the lineup we're going to roll. Wait, no. What did I forgot about somebody. I forgot about Rosario Melendez. God damn it. So right off the bat, we can make a spot with Patrick Bailey. He goes down to AAA. That makes it so we can have this. Where did this guy come from? They called him up from Arkansas. Yeah, no, we don't need this guy. He can go back down. We don't need him. And then Melendez comes up to the bigs with Rowley, and that's our tandem at catcher. And man, I really do want to get rid of Benintendi. I do. I want to get rid of Benintendi so we can have Rosario play left field and Chavez Young can be the backup rather than having another outfielder added to this. And I would have to send somebody down to make room for Rosario. So I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna try to trade Benintendi. See what we can get for him. Just anything. Even if it's something that's not great, we're just going to trade him. All right, I don't know what happened, but we simmed a couple days since the last time we shopped him, and now all of a sudden there's multiple teams interested in Andrew Benintendi giving up prospects for him. And I'm thinking that this Sanchez guy, who we noticed from the Rays last time, could be the move because of his high eye and discipline. I mean, he walks a lot. We like that. We like that a lot. Obviously hasn't walked much in AAA this year, but I'm hoping that'll improve as he goes on. So, but he has dropped his strikeout rate a ton, so that's something. And he still has really high OBP, so I think that, yeah, we're going to go with this guy and then see if we can get anything else added on to him. Like, I don't think we would want this Davidson guy just because he's a shortstop. Why is he playing first? They will. They do like that, so we could trade Benintendi for Sanchez and Logan Davidson. Neither of these guys are on the 40-man, so that's what we want. And we probably could comb through here and add on a reliever to this if we really wanted to, but do I really want to do that? I don't really think so. So we're just going to go with Sanchez and Davidson here for Andrew Benintendi, and Benintendi is now a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, I was curious to open up some spots on AAA here. I was seeing if we could combine Art Warren, who's 30 in AAA, probably never going to be in the bigs for us, and then Cole Freeman, who's 28 in AAA. If we can open up 2 spots on AAA and trade these guys for some younger guys to be in lower minor league systems and then eventually get into AAA and not have a logjam in AAA right now. So, like, right off the bat, this Colby Halter guy is interesting. Currently in rookie ball, so very much a low-level guy. Probably shouldn't be in rookie ball. He expects to be playing in the major leagues, but he hasn't made it past rookie ball. Interesting. Very interesting. What does OSA think of this guy? OSA thinks highly, I guess, or about the same. He's also a two-way player. Probably more, I mean, he can hit. Not really the greatest defensive player. But, you know, he could be somebody. Throw him up into, like, high A ball or something. See how he does. He is ineligible for the Rule 5 draft. That's always good to see. So yeah, this Colby Halter guy could be interesting. Throwing on somebody like Mason Meyer onto the trade as well could be a thing. All right, I think this is what we're going with here. We're going to get Halter, Pridgeon, and Mason Meyer for Warren and Freeman. And then we're also just throwing on this guy who's just like he's in AA right now, or he was in AA. He's in A-ball right now. Never going to be anything prospect. He's 22, but never going to be anything. Maybe something sparks for him in the Brave system, but you know, probably not going to be anything for us. We're just going to do this for these guys, open up those AAA spots, and have these guys in their respective teams. And that means that we have opened up this spot for Jason Rosario, who we are going to guarantee plays left field. So he's going to get locked in at left field. He can't play it right now, but I mean, he should have no problem learning left field on the fly because he is a center fielder currently. I'm hoping this eye discipline is something that really shines here, as he was not getting any time in San Diego, and now he's going to be playing every day, and hopefully that is able to get shown here. And he's a guy with that eye rating. It looks like it's a little bit less against lefties, and then everything else is pretty much the same against lefties. So he's not like a lefty guy who's going to have a huge struggle against left-handed bats. All right, so we just lost on extras, but yeah, this is what the lineup is looking like now. They've actually got Melendez starting, and Raleigh is playing every second game at catcher, which is fine. Evan White at first, Leyba at second, Long third, Kim short, Rosario left, Kelnick center, Lewis right, and Kwan is DHing. And that is the lineup for both sides. It just swapped around a bit on the actual 1-9, but for the positions, it's all the same. And then the pitching is we already went through that and showed that. So yeah, we have ourselves a young lineup now. I don't think we have like any players. Like the only player we have over 30 on the roster is Austin Nola, who we are going to try to trade when he comes back. That is something we are going to do, if he is going to come back before August 1st. Because like I said in the earlier in the episode, we don't know when he's coming back, but hopefully he figures it out and comes back soon before August 1st. All right, not good. It's July 31st, and Austin Nola is not back from his injury yet, and I've already tried trading him. So if I shop him around and do this, nothing pops up, because I think that he's just not able to be traded. So like if I go trade away player, yeah, he cannot be dealt as he is injured longer than 7 days, because they just don't know when he's going to return. And what do you know? What do you know? When does he come back? August 1st. August frickin' 1st he comes back. Like, are you kidding me? The day the trade deadline happens, he's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm back. I'm back, guys. I mean, that is absurd. Come on, man. So yeah, Austin Nola's back. Chavez Young, we're going to throw back down to AAA. And yeah, we've basically got some, like, I don't know, I forget what year it was, but it's like the year that not the Astros, the A's had, like, they were rotating 3 catchers. I think it was John Jaso, Derek Norris, and Stephen Vogt. And they had 3 catchers, and they used, like, all of them. That's basically what we're doing right now, is Melendez is starter, every second game's Raleigh, every 5th game's Nola, and then against lefties, Nola and Raleigh just switch as the 2 and 3 guys, while Nola's also the backup first baseman and the 3rd string second baseman. Oh man, and right as that happened, Cal Raleigh's out for 1 to 2 weeks with a mild hamstring strain, so it's a day-to-day injury, but I mean, might as well put him on the IL just to, you know, open up a spot for like a week or 2. So I think we're going to use an outfielder in that spot, because right now they have Kwan as all 3 backup spots, but, you know, we could always use another outfielder. So Chavez Young is going to come right back up to the big leagues for the next 1 to 2 weeks. Oh, fantastic. George Kirby has been diagnosed with an oblique strain. He's out for 2 weeks. It looks like Fletcher's injury diagnosis pending, and also so is Juan Then. So it looks like we're going to have 3 spots opened up here on our pitching staff. And Kirby's actually been really good since coming up. Like, he's been really solid as a starter and in 2 appearances as a reliever. So that's good to see from George Kirby, but he is going to be on the IL for 2 weeks now. So we have another spot to call up from AAA. But I think we're just going to go with Kincannon, just because it's not going to be like a long-term thing. So Kincannon comes up to Seattle, and that's going to be the move we make. Also, we apparently won a game in 15 innings by 10 runs. We had a 10-run 15th inning. That is absurd. Absolutely absurd. He went 3 for 7 with a home run, a double, a walk, while adding 4 ribbies. That was Austin Nola. And, yeah, that absurd game. White, Kelnick had 2 doubles, Kim had a double, Long had a double, Nola had a double, Kwan had a double. Kim homered, Nola homered, Lewis homered. We had a bunch of guys using the bullpen. I mean, just absurd. An absurd game. And I'm also seeing that on August 6th, George Kirby actually shut out the Astros. Complete game shutout. This is before he got hurt, obviously. But yeah, he's been really good. That's good to see. And Cal Raleigh has, it's time for him to be activated. I think we're just going to throw him on a rehab assignment just for shits and giggles. Just to, you know, get him back up to speed. Aaron Fletcher's injury still hasn't been diagnosed. Juan Thin, by the way, was only just day-to-day for like a couple days, so we're just not going to do anything with that. And then Kyle Lewis just has a day on, like, back spasms, so that's fine. Also looking like Kim just won American League Player of the Week. Went 13 for 28 this week, 4 ribbies, 8 runs scored, 8 runs driven in. Yeah, so great news for Kim there. He's actually been really good at the plate this year. He's got 21 bombs, 13 doubles, 11 stolen bases. Not great in the field. In fact, he's been really bad as a fielder. I ideally would have had Marte at shortstop by now, but, you know, that's, what are you gonna do? We have a shitty defensive alignment with Kim at shortstop, who we have learned is not a shortstop, while Shed Long is shit in the bed. What's going on here, Shed? What is going on? Jeez. I mean, your whole thing is that you're a hitter, and you are not hitting. And there we go. Fletcher's injury is finally being diagnosed. He has an elbow strain after 7 weeks. Now we have to call up another pitcher from AAA as Fletcher goes on the IL. We'll throw him, yeah, it doesn't matter. 15-day IL. We have plenty of spots open on the 40-man. We could call up Dean, the Greek-Canadian, who has been not great this year, but he could be a really interesting star. He's wearing number 1, too. Just a really oddball guy. He's a lefty. That makes you odd right away. He was wearing number 1 as a pitcher. Extremely odd. He throws 83 to 85, but he's got, like, the best curveball in the game. Extremely odd. I think we're just going to call him up and just see what he does. Also, if you're wondering who they added to the rotation, once Kirby went down, it was Brian Perez, who has not made a start yet, but we will be sure to keep an eye on that once he does make his first start. Well, an 11-0 win with Brian Perez on the hill, goes 5 2/3. Only gives up 2 hits, strikes out 4. Dean comes in, pitches a scoreless inning and a third, and so does Juan Thin. Fantastic to see in Brian Perez's first start as a Mariner. He had a couple bullpen appearances before that, and he was really good in the bullpen. I mean, people are hitting .399 against him. So Brian Perez, we're hoping that he can be what they think he's going to be. He's a top 100 prospect, currently 78th. All right, we're going to send Chavez Young back down to AAA and have Raleigh come back up to the big leagues and get that 3-catcher rotation thing going. I also think that since Shed Long is just, like, he's not performing right now, I think we're going to start Joe Rizzo at third base and, you know, just see what we have with him. Or what we could do is call up Brian Rocchio and have, like, Rocchio and Leyba play, like, a combination of shortstop, possibly, and Kim moves to third, and we send down Rizzo. I think that's the move, actually. We're going to send down Rizzo, and we're going to see what we have in Brian Rocchio as he comes up to the bigs. And George Kirby is back from his IL stint, so we're just going to throw him on rehab assignment for a couple games. And it is August 1st. It's time for the roster expansion, so that opens up 2 spots. One of those spots is probably just going to be George Kirby. Penn Murphy picks up the top hurler award in the in AAA. So I think we're going to call him up as well, because I was noticing that Justice Sheffield is getting absolutely rocked. And Cannon is too, but he's only had 3 1/3. So we're going to send down Sheffield, and we're going to call up Penn Murphy, and then that'll give us another bat spot to have. And also this turnaround that I was, you know, like joking could happen with these young guys, it's not happening. We're 59-75. We're still a shitty team. I did not mean to go to the pennant race. I wanted to go to the standings. Yeah, we're 3-7 in our last 10. We're not a good team. We're just trying to get geared up for the next couple of seasons now with some of our young core here. All right, it's time to send down Justice Sheffield to AAA. That opens up a spot in the pen. Penn Murphy, rightly named, is going to come up to be in our bullpen. And that means we still have 2 spots to call up to the big leagues. So George Kirby is going to be one of those spots. He's going to be promoted to Seattle. But once again, since we just have Quan DHing and he's the backup outfielder, I think we're just going to call up an outfielder. And the obvious choice is Chavez Young, because I don't think anybody else is really... Well, some bright spot news here is we just swept the Texas Rangers in a 4-game set, 9-2, 10-3, 1-0, and then 5-3. Who won this 1-0 game? Nick Margavicius with a complete game shutout of the Texas Rangers. This 9-2 win was George Kirby, once again, having a good start. The 10-3 win was Justin Dunn, not picking up the greatest start, but, we got the job done anyways. And then to close out the series, it was Logan Gilbert having a pretty solid start, 8 Ks through 5 1/3. Aquino and Delaplane looking shaky with the walks in the bullpen, but, still getting the job done nonetheless. We also just got this news that Barron Radcliffe, the first baseman corner outfielder guy that we traded for from the Reds, has received Player of the Week down in Double-A. He has 3 home runs, .417 average in this week. He has been pretty good with Double-A Arkansas. He's getting on base. His slugging percentage is a bit lower than it was in Chattanooga, but, his BABIP is much lower, so he's kind of getting screwed with that. But he's getting hits, he's getting doubles, he's hitting home runs, he's doing his thing. He's walking, he's actually striking out much less than he was in Chattanooga. And also it appears that Aldenis Sanchez, the AAA center fielder we have, is on a 20-game, or is that extended? Yeah, hit streak's still alive. He's on a 20-game hit streak, and that was a few days ago. We haven't gotten a message saying it's been ended yet, so he is still on this 20-plus game hit streak, apparently. And, yeah, it looks like he's actually been really good. No power whatsoever. He's not hitting for any extra base hits, but he's getting on base a ton, slapping a ton of base knocks around, and also walking a bunch in AAA. So that is great to see from Aldenis Sanchez. And you may be wondering how Brian Rocchio has been doing. Well, in 19 starts, 69 plate appearances, he's having a pretty good slash line, 323, 362, and 554. 3 doubles, 2 home runs, he's swiping some bags. He's not walking much, but he's striking out just like not at all. 146 WRC plus, and the BABIP isn't even that high. So that is great to see from Brian Rocchio. And in the field, he has been not a great shortstop, but he's definitely not as bad defensively as Kim was at shortstop. So I think the lesson we're learning here is that we really need Marte at shortstop next season. That is the thing we're shooting for here. I'll have to learn how to say his first name, but Marte here only has 1 to 2 weeks left, so he'll be back next season, no problem. He was tearing it up in AAA this year when he was actually playing. He's probably going to be the shortstop right off the bat in 2024, and we're probably going to have ourselves a pretty solid young team. If I had to guess, maybe we could channel some of those, year ahead of the rebuild type vibes where we start just having a bunch of young guys clicking and putting together a bunch of good seasons, and maybe Kelnick will return back to form. It looks like he's starting to actually return back to form quite a bit this year, but he got off to a really bad start. Let's see what his splits are looking like. So yeah, April and May, he was terrible, but ever since June, he's been back to being the usual Jared Kelnick. So that's great to see. Kelnick's still doing his thing. Evan White's still doing his thing. Kim has been solid at the plate this year. Domingo Leiba's had a down year, so that's not good to see. Hopefully he can bounce back in 2024. But we'll go through these guys once we get to the end of the season. Another message for Sanchez. He has just, this was actually 2 days ago on the 12th, he extended his hit streak to 25 games. This man is just tearing the cover off the ball down in AAA right now. What? Okay, so Sanchez's hit streak got snapped on 26 games. Sad to see, but 26 games still very impressive. But this is what I'm reacting to right here. The guy we just drafted in the first round this year, Jackson Neza from the Florida Gators, is just like, hey, I'm calling it quits. I'm going to play baseball. He's been really bad since he came in the big leagues or the minor leagues, but, you know, still, we just drafted him first round, and now he's like, yeah, no, I'm gone. And the worst part about this is we just drafted him in the first round, and because he signed with us, we don't get him. We don't get like a compensation round for him because he actually signed with us, and we did like fail to sign him. So we just wasted a first round pick on Jackson Neza here, and he's 6'1", 185. Keep that in mind, 6'1", 185. Apparently, they think he's going to be a first or second round pick as a defensive end. 6'1", 185. Defensive end. And that's not good. Day-to-day injury for Jared Kelenic, expected to take 3 weeks. It's just moderate for running, nothing else is affected, and it's the season's coming to an end, so we're just going to let him play through that. And what do you know, there's Marte, eligible to come off of the IL, and I think we actually we did use one of his options this year because he was sent down to AAA after spring training. So we could call him up right now and just have him play shortstop for like a couple games to end the year. I mean, why not, really? It's not going to really affect his service time. He's going to get like a couple games in. All right, so Aaron Fletcher is eligible to come off the IL. Doesn't even matter because it's the end of the season. We have finished the 2023 season, and we actually sort of did make a run there towards the end of the season. What are we in our last 10? Yeah, we're 7-3 in our last 10, so somehow up into third place. I mean, the Oakland A's absolutely dominated the AL West this year. That's the best record in the AL. Tied for the best record in baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals. They had 105, Braves won 102, but the best team in the AL this year was the Oakland A's, as they just pounded up on the AL West, as the Mariners... we finish in third at 78 and 84, much better than we were, like, even just last time we looked. But, yeah, 7-3 to finish the season, 4-game win streak. And, yeah, just, oh, yeah, also there was some stuff in the mail news here. The top pitcher of the month in September was Nick Margevicius, who apparently was 6-0 in the month, 6 starts, 6 wins. Great to see a bounce-back year for Nick Margevicius after a down year in 2022. So he bounced back and had a good year, but our team did not have a good year. Also, Player of the Week towards the end of September was Evan White, the first baseman for us. So just looking at these standings yet again, A's win the West, Central goes to the Spiders, Rays get the East, Braves win the East, Cardinals get the Central, Dodgers get the West. And then we have both wildcard teams in the NL are AL West teams, and Padres and D-backs, as the Mets miss out by 1 game. And then in the East, or in the AL, it's the Red Sox and the White Sox in the wildcard, the Battle of the Sox. And then the Tigers missed out by 5 games. They weren't really too close there. We actually were 9 games out of the wildcard. So, I mean, not really a realistic shot to get in there, but, you know... compared to where we were earlier in the season, we definitely did make a run there towards the end with the roster expansion in September. And now as far as our guys go, with the MLB arms here, who had the best WAR on the team? Nick Margevicius among pitchers, was our top WAR getter. Logan Gilbert, Justin Dunn were all above 2 WAR. LJ Newsome had a 1.8. He had 12 starts this year, 53 total appearances. Pretty solid year for LJ Newsome here. I'll definitely take that. Was he, like, much worse as a starter? Yeah, okay, so he was definitely much worse as a starter than he was a bullpen guy. So, you know, maybe LJ Newsome is more of a bullpen pitcher heading forward, but, I mean, I'll take LJ Newsome being a really good bullpen guy. And then Wyatt Mills... he had an okay year. Delaplane had an okay year. Wilkin Cannon only pitched 10 innings since coming up, but he got absolutely rocked. I mean, he was throwing batting practice. That's not good to see. We're probably either going to cut ties with him or maybe trade him or something in this offseason. Ismael Aquino looked like he had an okay year. I mean, yeah, I'll take that. Sub 700 OPS, just barely. ERA plus was solid. Decent ERA FIP. Walked a little bit too many guys, but that's fine for a reliever. And then Dean here. Look at Dean. Got rocked around a bit in AAA this year, but came up to the big leagues and was like, hey, you never seen this 85-mile-an-hour fastball with like the best thing about this guy is that insane curveball he has is probably like a Kyle Hendricks like 67 mile per hour curveball. I mean, this guy is Looney Tunes, man. Pairing that with a really good changeup too. I mean, this guy is. We'll have to see how he progresses, because I mean they think he even should be a starter. So I mean, who knows if he ends up as a starter. But, I mean, he was really good as a reliever, so that's good to see from the Greek-Canadian there. Penn Murphy pitched 7 innings. He didn't give up a run in the 7 innings that he pitched. He also won the top AL hurler, or the top PCL hurler award. Juan Then was pretty okay, or it looked like he walked way too many guys, but he was okay. He was pretty good, actually, besides the walks with in the bullpen. Brian Perez was solid, very solid, coming up in the rest of the season, so that's good to see. These are all guys that are going to be key parts of our team. Then, Perez, Dean, all these guys. Aquino, good, big parts of our pitching staff heading forward. Zach Pop was pretty good in the pen as well. That's good to see. George Kirby struggled a bit there towards the end, but he was pretty solid for the most part. Looks like he gave up a little bit too many home runs, but we'll take George Kirby, and that is first showing this year. LJ Newsome, we already went over. Logan Gilbert, bit of a bounce back year. You know, not really though. He pretty similar numbers actually to the year before. So maybe this is just what Logan Gilbert is, but still a pretty decent starter to have. And then Justin Dunn, definitely not the 4 WAR season he had in 2022, but still a decent year for Justin Dunn. Looks like he walked a little bit more guys than he did the year before, but he jumped his strikeout rate. Then it looks like he gave up more balls in play. He allowed more hits on balls in play than he did last year, probably because we just did not have as good of a defense as we did the previous year. Hopefully that improves with Marte at shortstop full-time next year. Let's see, did he have a... Yeah, so he was just kind of bouncing back and forth all year. He had a really good April, solid May, bad June, bad July, solid August, really good September. So hopefully he can just, be more consistent next year. And then as far as the bats go, sort by WAR, Evan White led our team in WAR 3.7. Another great year for him. 30 home run year for Evan White. 30 doubles, 32 home runs. Pretty similar numbers as he usually does. Very, very solid Evan White type year. Jared Kelnick, we saw that he really started picking things up towards the end of the season. Stolen base rate was much higher than it was. Or percentage was much higher than it has been, so that's good to see. Still stole 26 bags, 20 home runs, a bit lower. Still 33 doubles, but, he, like we saw, he got off to a really bad start, but then June, July, August, and then he tried to kind of struggle in September too, but June, July, August was just really back to being the Kelnick that we expect to see in center field for us. And then Kyle Lewis, this is what we come to expect from Kyle Lewis. It seems like he's just a 2-WAR player, solid bat, going to give you some home runs, some doubles, some speed in the base paths, some solid defense in center if you need, in the corners. Some really good defense in the corners. Strikes that probably too much, but solid player. That's what we've come to expect from Kyle Lewis now. Jason Rosario, not the greatest, but that was his first bit of major league action, so hopefully he's able to improve upon that for next season. And where's Kwan? Steven Kwan here, not great. He was really good when he first came up, but was he just really bad in the field or something? Okay, so yeah, maybe he's not great in the field. I don't know, maybe that's what killed him. Maybe he just started, it looks like he definitely started not hitting as great as the season went on. So, he's just kind of a depth outfielder for us anyways. He's not a long-term guy. Who knows if he's even back for next season. We'll have to make the decisions on if we want to bring back any of these 40-man roster guys, or if we want to DFA them and make sure they don't get the league minimum next year once the offseason comes around. But yeah, let's see, what did Marte do? Okay, so yeah, 9 games, played 9 games in the majors, wasn't great, but he got some action. Hopefully he's able to, get a full season in next year and actually be really good for us in his age 22 season, his first full season in the bigs, and hopefully he's able to help improve the defense at least. Shed Long was really bad. That's not good to see. He could be a possible trade candidate in the offseason. Kim, solid at the dish. Looks like he struggled a bit towards the end of the season. Was that the case? Yeah, it looks like September was pretty rough for him. But, June, July, August, he was really solid. Even April, May was kind of iffy, but, he looked really struggled in September, it looked like. But, he was still pretty solid for us this year at the dish, not defensively, though. Brian Rocchio, he was okay, not great. Didn't really get on base as much as you would like to see, but we'll take that when his first. Hopefully he can, in his first major league action, hopefully he can improve upon that. Domingo Leyba, definitely extremely disappointing for Domingo Leyba here. We're going to need a big bounce back year from him. And Austin Nola is a guy that we are going to want to trade in the offseason this year, because I just don't think he's worth keeping around with what they think he's going to get in arbitration. Like, what is he? Yeah, they think, if maybe that's worth keeping around, but then again, we have too many catchers, so maybe it's not. So we could probably trade him and then just keep Cal Raleigh, who, he is what he is. He's a decent bat, decent defensive catcher. And then we've got MJ Melendez, who's just, an extremely good defensive catcher, captain-type player. Never really going to be a big bat, but, I don't really look for bats too much catching. We just kind of got lucky to start with Nola in this series. And then the batting leaders around the league. The best batting average in the league was Livan Soto, this second baseman they got, who is my type of player, the high eye discipline, contact, also avoid K, really good defensively as well. Really solid season from this guy. No power whatsoever, but that's fine if you're going to get on base that much just from walking and singles. Max Muncy with 57 bombs. We love Max Muncy, folks. And then also Ribby's on-base percentage was Juan Soto, and then there's the Livan Soto guy right there. The Soto guys. Highest OPS was Juan Soto, Bellinger, Yelich, Albies, Freeman all had 1,000 OPSs. Juan Soto had a 9.9 WAR. This guy is absurd. Look at these numbers, man. Absurd. This guy, he had a 489 OBP this year, 491 the year before. Look at this. Absurd, man. The hits leader was Albies. There's the Soto guy from the D-backs. Runs Acuna, Devers with 56 doubles on the season. Ridiculous. Stolen bases was Acuna. Look at that. Jake Fraley with the most caught stealing in the league with the Dodgers this season. What else do we got here? The most strikeouts was Edwin Rios. There's Miguel Sano, the second most strikeouts in the league at that second spot. He got a bunch of those with us. That counts as one of our players. And then on the pitching side of things, we got Shane Bieber, who I believe he's been extremely good throughout this whole series. He is just an absolute ace for the Cleveland Spiders. What else can you say about Shane Bieber? Mackenzie Gore, Giolito, Jameson Taillon, who's apparently with the St. Louis Cardinals now. Seth Lugo with the D-backs. Nate Pearson's up there. With the saves, it was Miguel Romero of the Oakland A's. Jordan Hicks up there, too. Bieber with a 9 WAR as a pitcher. Just absurd from Shane Bieber. What else do we got here? Complete games is this Taiwanese guy from the Boston Red Sox. I believe one of those was against us as well this season. Strikeouts with Giolito with 291 Ks on the season. Most walks, there's Tyler Chatwood yet again. They keep employing him, man. Teams keep employing Tyler Chatwood, and he keeps leading the league in walks. Stop employing the guy, man. He's not any good. He's not going to give you any production. Somehow managed to only have a 4 ERA. I guess that kind of... Oh, look, it's Taylor Gilbo. Looks like Taylor Gilbo had a decent year with the Twins, so, the Twins got some major production from Gilbo, and we got nothing from Miguel Sano, but we did manage to get assets for trade, so I guess we got something. I mean, this is unfair at this point. The Mariners with just like an absurd defensive catcher. I mean, not the Mariners. The Cardinals. They go from Yadi Molina to having Christian Vasquez, who apparently had the lowest catcher's ERA. So for the pitchers that threw to him, had the lowest ERA of all catchers in baseball, and he threw out 40% of base stealers or attempted base stealers. So I mean, just an absurd season defensively from Christian Vasquez, and he's not even like that bad defensively. He's still, get some home runs for you. He's a captain. I mean, that's what you want from a catcher. Alrighty, so the season has come to an end. Somehow with the season we had, we actually got an average season score instead of a poor season score. So I don't know how that happened, but the Oakland A's won the World Series over the St. Louis Cardinals. So the World Series ended up being the best team from the AL and the best team from the NL. But the Cardinals' devil magic ran out once they ran up against the A's, who were just absurd this season. So the A's dominate the AL West, win the World Series here in 2023. That's right, I totally forgot about Scott Service, but that's fine because we forgot about him because I wasn't going to bring him back. Anyways, so Scott Service leaves the team, and we are going to pick things up in the offseason next time.